الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
عطر وفاكم بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. زيارة عاشوراء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور، أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت. ولعن الله أمة دافعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها. ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برأت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم يا أبا عبد الله. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان، ولعن الله بني أمية قاطبة، ولعن الله ابن مرجانة، ولعن الله عمرو بن سعد، ولعن الله شمرا، ولعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالك بأبي أنت وأمي. لقد عظم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله، إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بموالاتك وبالبراءة ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانه وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشياعكم. برأت إلى الله وإليكم منهم، وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الحرب وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم وولي لمن والاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم، فاسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أولياءكم وارزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة، وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله، وأن يرزقني طلب ثاري مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم، وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يعطيني بمصابي بكم أفضل ما يعطي مصابا مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تناله منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد، ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إن هذا يوم تبركت به بني أمية وابن آكلة الأكباد اللعين ابن اللعين، على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله، في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية، عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعن منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم العن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد، وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم العن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت على قتله. اللهم العنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني، وابدأ به أولا ثم الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم العن يزيدا خامسا، والعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجانة وعمرو بن سعد وشمرا وآل أبا سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. سجدة. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابهم، الحمد لله على عظم رزيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا روحهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. آل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
أنا راحت. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخالق الأجمعين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين، حبيبنا وحبيب إليه العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى طيبين الطاهرين معصومين، ولا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين، ولعنة داعم على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Assalamu alaikum to all the brothers and sisters. May Allah Azza wa Jal and Imam al-Zaman alayhi salam accept our mournings for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. May these majalis and these mourning for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein be the building block of our sa'adat, of our mortal felicity, and may it be the building block of our iman day to day. Tonight, of course, is the night of Habib al-Madahir. So the first part of the lecture we will mention a few things about Habib. And there was a few points that was left from the lecture before, because of course, as you know, the lecture of yesterday, the talks and the things that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein had said from Medina to Karbala, there were many points, there were many words of wisdom that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein had to tell his companions and enlarge his followers, Shi'ayan. So we'll go back to that and inshallah finish off the points if we have enough time, inshallah. However, firstly with Habib ibn Madahir, which is the first part of the lecture, well, as the brothers and sisters know, Habib is one of the closest companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. He's much even older than Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. He was the companion of the Prophet. He was a part of the special forces of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now that, of course, in the war times now that you see these special forces or Delta Force or whatever names they have now, even back then they had these special forces, and Habib was a part of the special forces. Habib was a companion that was very dear to the Ahlul Bayt. It's famous that Imam Hussein alayhi salam had sent Habib a letter. Now, in the ahadith, some say that yes, Imam Hussein had sent Habib a letter, and some say no, he hadn't sent Habib a letter. However, whether it be that Imam had sent Habib a letter or not, Habib al-Madahir would have 100% gone to the aid of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. He wouldn't have missed this chance of shahadat and this chance of being in the army of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein for anything. We've seen this from his track record. We've seen from his track record in Jang al-Siffin and the War of Siffin, and with the way he was with the Ahlul Bayt, that Habib was not a person to leave the Imam. As soon as he would hear that there was a war, he would give his life, he would be in pieces before he would let Imam Hussein alayhi salam, even a hair on his head would be touched. This is Habib. This is also Zuhair. These people are the elite. May inshallah we also be like these greats. Habib on the Zuhr of Ashura gave a lecture, gave a khutbah. I've said this before, he gave a khutbah. And Habib, in that khutbah, in the Zuhr of Ashura, he mentioned 5 characteristics that all the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein have. Because brothers and sisters, being the companion of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, with each step that went by, so from Medina to Karbala, each step, so some of them, when they got to Karbala, left, some of them on that night where Abu Abdullah al-Hussein turned off the lights and said, whoever wants to leave can leave. In each of these steps, more people dropped out, because Abu Abdullah al-Hussein wanted to keep the purest. Even if we see, for example, when you're trying to purify a certain element, it gets lighter and lighter and less until those purest of ones, those purest of stones, of gems are left. And we can see this with Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Those 72 that were left, apart from the Hashimis that were left as well, but the 72 companions, walaikum assalam, were the purest of companions. And of course the brothers and sisters have seen hadith that these companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein there was never companions like them, and there will never be companions like them. These are the elite of companions that any Imam can have. Now Habib has said that the reason why we were the companions of Abu Abdullah, there's 5. He gave 5 reasons in the Zuhr of Ashura. Firstly, why are we even mentioning this? We're mentioning this because how are we supposed to learn how to be the abd of Allah truly? How are we supposed to learn how to act with our Imam and how to be with our Imam? From these people. History is a lesson. These hadith are lessons. The best person to learn from is the closest companions of the Imam and how they acted. The best person to learn from is Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, how he was with his Imam. The best person to learn from is Habib, is Hazrat Muslim, is Zuhair. These people are the people that we need to learn from. So Habib here, it's mentioning 5 characteristics, and the reason why we're saying this is so that we try to have these characteristics within us. If we don't, if we do, we do. Let's bring the intensity even higher. But if we don't, we have to figure out a way to have these characteristics within us. We have to work towards it. It's important. Ashura and the 10 nights of Abu Abdullah is not only coming here and doing a little bit of latmiya and leaving, or coming to here and, I don't know, seeing each other and leaving. It's from learning. It's a learning from Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Crying is important, doing latmiya is important, all these are important, but it has no value if I leave here and I have not changed. Just how we have hadith from the Imams, that if you want to see that if your prayer has been accepted, see if before your namaz, your prayer, and after your namaz, you're the same person or not. If you haven't changed, that namaz was just for you not to go to hellfire. It was just vazifah. You just wanted to put your duties behind you. But if a namaz changes you, that's true namaz. That you're not the same. You've just purified yourself even by the littlest bit, by just an ounce. If you can do that, that's a namaz. That's a namaz that is worth it. So these characteristics, when we learn them, when we hear them, when we look within ourselves and we see we don't have them, we have to try to, in this Muharram, we have to try to have these characters within us. And each Muharram that comes, each Ramadan that comes, these are wake-up calls. Another Ramadan has come. Honestly, let's see how fast is time going. It was just Ramadan, it feels like a few weeks ago. Now it's Muharram. A little bit longer it will be Rajab and Sha'ban and Ramadan again, and again Muharram. It's in a blink of an eye. It's very fast. Time goes very fast. These are wake-up calls. How was I the Muharram before? How am I right now? We have a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, is that a person will never stay stationary. We either are decreasing or increasing in our spirituality. We're either increasing or decreasing as Muslims. This is a question we need to ask ourselves. Are we increasing or decreasing? Inshallah, we're increasing. So this characteristics that Habib has mentioned, firstly, Habib said number 1 characteristic that we have is we have taharat. We are pure. Now, of course, this pure could mean the taharat of wudu and having, these kind of taharat, which is very important. We should, inshallah, all of us, all the time walk with wudu. It's very good to be with wudu. Before we sleep, we have wudu. It's not very difficult to have wudu all the time. After we go to, for example, to the bathroom, we take a wudu. It's not that difficult. So being with wudu, it could mean this, and it could entail this as well, but however, it definitely means purity of heart. This you can take as a fact, that it definitely means purity of heart. The action that these people were taking for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, they were 100% pure in heart. They had no other intention than to go with Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Not because of qanimat. Why? Because they knew, for Imam had told them, you will 100% die. You will 100% be shaheed. On the night of Tasu'a, Imam said 100%, listen, there is no doubt that we are shaheed. Even if you look at the army, 30,000 people against us 72, it's very logical that they're going to lose. If you look at the face value of it, they're going to lose. Not behind the scenes, the maqam that they will reach, the status that they will reach according to Allah Azza wa Jal. That's a different matter. But in reality, on this world, yes, they get martyred. Their loved ones will be taken away as captives. This is what happened. And they know this. However, in their hearts, they are purely because of Imam. They're going because of Imam, and they want to die in the path of Imam. And this is a path of love now. It's more than responsibility, brothers and sisters. It's more than responsibility. It's a path of love here. There were many people that wanted to come with Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. They said to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, let me just go and put my family, my wife and kids back to our village, our house, wherever it may be, and we'll come back. But Abu Abdullah knew if these people leave, they're not coming back. They won't make it back. Either they'll be captive, they'll be in prison. Either by the time they even reach, the war is over. Remember, Ashura was in one day. Until Zuhr time, from the early morning till Zuhr time was over. Half a day, you could say. It's not a war that took years. It's not like a long time like the war of Siffin or the long war of Jamal or so on and so forth. This is very quick, very swift. Of course, it's thousands of people against only a few, let's say 100, 200. Of course, we know what's going to happen. So many people see, they're the ones that fell off. This is the purity. But some people, they didn't even think about their family. Number one thought in their head was Imam. Because they've been dissolved in their Imam. Brothers and sisters, they've been dissolved. They don't think about anything else. They're absolutely dissolved in their Imam. They're not thinking about their own happiness. They're not even thinking about their own sadness. They're not thinking about their wife and kids. Over here, it's just Imam. Zubu fil Imam. Zubu. Be dissolved in your Imam. There's a famous story about, this is very important for the sisters, inshallah. This bit in particular, please the sisters pay attention to this particular thing that I want to say. There is a famous Arifeh. Arif is a spiritual person. Arifeh is a spiritual person that's a woman. Just the Arifeh, it says the woman's thing in Arabic in it. A woman that was very high up in the ranks of spirituality called Rubabe. This is a person, she had reached high levels. And there was a discussion that was going on, and there was three men. Let it be, we don't need to speak about who they were. However, the discussion was that when the question that they were discussing, these three men, and also she was there, the community, they were speaking. When is it that I know I am one of the awliyaullah? I'm one of the friends of Allah Azza wa Jal. Awliyaullah, it's a maqam. It's a certain maqam. When do I know I've reached this maqam? The first person said, I know I've reached this maqam when I do taslim to Allah. I have taslim. When a certain, first one is as-sabru ta'a. I'm taslim. I do sabr in this problem that I'm facing right now. I have a huge problem, whatever it may be. It might be economical, it might be, I don't know, family-wise, it might be, whatever it may be. Problem that I'm facing, I do sabr. As-sabru ta'a. Having patience in that problem that I'm facing. The second man said, no, we're talking about awliyaullah. What do you mean it's not just about sabr ta'a. It's not just about controlling myself or having patience in a certain problem. Having patience. It's not this. It's having taslim with rida. Being happy. So not only am I having patience in a certain thing, However, I'm happy with it as well. I have rida. This is the second thing. Of course, we mentioned even yesterday, this is a high maqam. It's not a joke. For a person to have rida, to also be happy while they're having patience, is very difficult. For example, Allah has gave you something very hard to endure, and not only are you holding on to that hard thing and it's very difficult for you, but for you to be happy while Allah is giving it to you. It's extremely hard. However, Rubaba said here, no, this is a woman that has reached, because we even get this question a lot, that these are so many spiritual men, and is it only for men, is it not for women? That's not the case. It makes no difference. Spirituality, the soul is, when we spoke about the soul has no feminine or masculine. Soul is a soul. We all can reach high levels of spirituality. Look at Bibi Zahra alayhi salam. Read Hadith al-Katha. Look at Bibi Zahra. So it's not even men or female, anyone can reach this maqam, and this woman had reached this maqam. She said, no. It's not for you to have, if you truly, we're talking about this peak, this zenith of maqam. Awliullah, it's not a joke. Awliullah is when not only is it about enjoyment or is it about having patience in a problem, however, or a issue that you're having in your life, it's that I do not even understand pleasure and I don't even understand pain while it's happening to me. A question is rising, what do you mean even? And she gave an example of Surah Yusuf. When the women saw Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, they didn't even realize the pain that they were cutting their hand. They were cutting their hand with the knives. They didn't even realize when they looked at Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, they didn't understand anything. They didn't understand the pain in their hand. They didn't understand where they were. They didn't even understand they're cutting it. An awliullah, a person that reaches this maqam, pleasure and pain it doesn't understand pleasure and pain. It's the same, because they are dissolved in Allah Azza wa Jal. They are dissolved in their Imam. This is the maqam of the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. They're dissolved. They're completely dissolved in their Imam. For them, pleasure and pain, it makes no difference. They're not thinking about, oh, I need to take my family here, or I need to be careful of that. They leave that to Allah Azza wa Jal. They leave it. In this case, it's okay. Yeah, not in any case we're saying, okay, leave your family and Allah will take care of it. No, we have a responsibility. But we have to weigh it. This is a scale. On the other end is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and his family. Which family comes before? Which family comes first? My family or the family of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? Which one's more important? At that moment, these people don't even have a scale. They're so pure that they are dissolved in their Imam. This is one of the characteristics. Being so pure that you're dissolved in your Imam. Habib says a second characteristic that the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein have is that we have hujjat with us. This is extremely important. We have hujjat with us. We have this belief that haqq is with us. The hujjat is with us. The Imam is with us. That's why you see when Habib is confronted with the enemies of Zuhr of Ashura, when Zubayr is also there, they call out to them, what are you doing? Do you not know who he is? Our Imam is the grandson of the Prophet. He's Yabna Rasulullah. You guys are only buying for yourself hellfire. What are you doing? See, they're facing this many enemy and people that for a fact laughed at them and said, what do you do? You're going to lose. Look, you're going to be martyred. You're going to be under the hooves of our horses and your bodies will be laid bare on the sand of Karbala. However, the companion, true companions, this purity that they have, they are so firm with it because they say Hujjat is with us. Imam is on this side. Why are you on that side? It's funny to them. They have Hujjat. This brings your heart is 100% with the Imam. Is 100% on the path you are facing. You have no doubt. You have no shak. You know Imam is with you. These are the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn. Thirdly, that the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn are true to their word. If they give a ahd, if they give a promise, they're always true to their promise. And we can see this. They had promised to be with Abu Abdullah al-Husayn. Each of these people, each of the companions had promised Hazrat Bibi Zainab alayhi salam that we will not let go of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn until the last moment. Each of us would have to die before even one Hashimi would be martyred. I will not be alive on that day that one hair touches the head of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn. They're true to their word. And they acted upon it. They 100% acted upon it. This is Habib. This is a characteristic. In our day-to-day lives, how much are we true to our word? If we give a promise of something, it starts from the little things. Don't think it's not an important thing. It's an extremely important thing. It starts from the little things. If I'm true to my word and I give my word, even on the little things, and because I promised, remember 2 nights ago we said one of the reasons that Abu Abdullah al-Husayn had left Medina to go to Karbala is because Abu Abdullah said, I promised that if they want me, I will go. I have to act upon what I gave promise to. I'm an Imam, my duty is when they call upon me for me to go. And of course the companions of Abu Abdullah listened, they learned from Abu Abdullah Husayn. They've heard this from Abu Abdullah, they've seen how he acts on his promises. They've seen how Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib acts upon his promises. Salawatullah. Allah. They've seen this, they've seen how they called the Prophet of Allah Siddiq. He's true to his word, he's true to his promise, and they've also adopted the same philosophy, they've adopted the same characteristics with them. So thirdly, was being true to their word, and fourth, they have patience. Now of course here we're talking about normal patience, but they had it in abundance. It's not just sabr wa ta'ah, of course. As we said, they're completely dissolved in their Imam. This is why Hazrat Qasim says, Ahlam and asal. It's sweeter than honey. They're completely dissolved. As we mentioned even before, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, when he gets up, everyone on that night before Ashura, the night of Ashura, they got up and gave khutbahs and spoke, and of course the leader of all of them, of the companions, is Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas only got up and he said only one sentence. When Abu Abdullah said, no, whoever wants to leave can go, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas didn't say a long speech, he didn't give a whole paragraph, he only said one sentence. He said, Ya Abu Abdullah, where should we go? Where can I go? He's dissolved. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is dissolved in his Imam. So where do I have to go? I have no other place than to be beside you, Ya Abu Abdullah. I have no other place. Where should I go? All that I am is for you. Me, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, I was born to do khidmat, to serve you, Ya Abu Abdullah. I was born. I was raised to be your companion. I was raised for this moment. Where should I go? He says it in very simple, a short sentence, but full of meaning. This is the meaning of being dissolved. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is on the peak here. And each of them, we see, for this fourth characteristic that it says, Habib the Mazahir says, is that they all are full of patience. And honestly, brothers and sisters, if you wanted to be in Karbala, by God, you would have to have patience in abundance. For everything that unfolded on that night and coming to that night and on the day of Ashura, on the Zuhr of Ashura, it was painful to see. You would have to have patience. It needs patience to even hear it, and 1,000 years has gone by, let alone being there. The fifth important, which is very important, which is extremely important, the fifth and last characteristic, that it is the building block to build all the other characteristics, brothers and sisters. This one's important, and we mentioned it quite a few times, is taqwa. All of them had taqwa. Now taqwa, in terms of, if we see the word itself in the dictionary, it means a shield, to protect yourself. It's protecting yourself from sin. That's what taqwa in its essence is. Taqwa is not committing sin. And I know I've mentioned this a few times in lectures, it's because of its importance. If we truly want to begin, the starting point is not making sins. Number one, we need to understand what sins are, because there's some sins that we wouldn't know about it, or we might not know that we're committing it. But that's the start. A sinful person has no place in the companionship of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. A sinful person has no place. They need to be purified. Even Hur, that was his night last night, even he had to be purified. He came to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein crying. He realized he did tawbah. Abu Abdullah forgave him with the way he came, on his knees. A true tawbah. Sometimes we say, tawbah, astaghfirullah, and then it's gone. Tawbah is from the heart, brothers and sisters. Tawbah is from a heart that I truly feel ashamed and I never want to commit that again. They asked Ayatollah Bahjat rahmatullah alayh, when will I know that my tawbah has been forgiven? Ayatollah Bahjat replied, when you never commit that sin again. How serious are you? If you're genuinely serious about you've made a mistake, why would you make it again? If you're making it again, it means you're not serious. You need to be serious. Being serious is not committing the sin again. If I truly say I want to be the companion, and still our Imam is alive, brothers and sisters, if we want to truly be in the companionship of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, I first say this to myself. Allahumma salli. I first say to myself, we need to stop making sins. We need to stop making mistakes. We need to stop breaking each other's hearts with our words. This is unfortunately a sin that will take a lot of people with them. Saying things that will break someone's heart. Being careful what we say to each other. Being careful what we say behind each other. Being careful generally of whatever we say. Unfortunately, this tongue, it will hit many on the ground. This tongue, you can make many mistakes with it. By just a few wrong words here and there, you can make so many mistakes. That's why we have to be careful about what we say. These sins are important. What we think about. Sometimes we might have an opinion about another person which is completely not true. Even in our hearts, it's still you're not purified yet. Even that thought that comes. Okay, if it comes without you noticing it, you do astaghfar and you stop thinking about it, yes, that's fine. We can't control some things that come to our heads. But if we give it more fuel and keep thinking about it and say, yeah, you see what he did there? He meant this. You see, when he looked at me in that way, he was trying to say, he's this. And we keep adding fuel to the fire, throwing another log into the fire. We have to be careful. This is where it starts. If we don't pay attention to the rizq we have, the money that we're getting, am I working correctly? Am I not working correctly? These little things. Am I taking care of an amanat that has been given me? Or if someone's given me something, it's not that important. Even if it breaks, even if... I'm just giving simple examples, day-to-day life. But it's important. This is where it starts. So one of the most important things is taqwa. And that is by understanding the haram and halal. Taqwa just... Sorry for the interruption, but unfortunately they're saying that the ladies are making too much noise. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. However, inshallah, if the ladies recite a salawat, ladies, the noise is coming even here. Only the ladies this time. Inshallah, recite another salawat. I said only ladies. So one of the most important things is doing ra'iyat of taqwa. And this is extremely important. Our halals, our harams. For example, if we're speaking and we're not allowing other people to hear it, this is haqqun nas. So this is one example of it right now. If we speak in a majlis, for example, in this moment in time, and another person is trying to hear it, they've come to hear a few words and learn, then if we're speaking and we're preventing this, this is another one. See, it's in our day-to-day life, we have to be very careful. This is one example. This is one example of taqwa. It's things that it doesn't even come to our minds. It won't even come to our minds. We'll think, oh no, we're just speaking, but it's not the case. If we want to do ra'iyat of taqwa, if we want to have taqwa, if we want to have this within us, we have to think about others, even on the smallest things. So these are the 5 characteristics that, inshallah, we can all harness within ourselves. And inshallah, if we harness it within ourselves, we will be the companions of the Imams. Now quickly, just a few from the lecture yesterday. We wanted to just mention a few more things that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein from Medina to Karbala had mentioned his companions, that he took his companions to be people like Habib ibn Mazahir. Recite one more salawat. One of the things that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein mentioned is the fact that dunya, this world, this materialistic world, has no value. It is truly, we have la'ibun wa lahwun, ayah of Quran. La'ibun wa lahwun. It's just playing ground, it's just play. It doesn't mean anything. It has no value. And having a death, this is put together as 2 things in one. Having a meaningful and a sa'adat death. A death that brings you to immortal felicity. A death that buys you the hereafter. Listen, brothers and sisters, when we die, the things that we are attached with, the things that we are very attached with in that moment become very important for us. It's harder to rip yourself from the dunya, from this world, when we're dying, if we have not practiced in the short time that we're here, to detach ourselves already. Now, we want to keep a balance. This doesn't mean that I'm going to go live in a cave up in wherever, I don't know if there's caves in Scotland, but a cave and keep just doing a'mal and read Quran. It's not what we mean. Of course, our religion, our faith, is a faith of society. We have to be in society. Just how Rasulullah was in society. Allah. he was also in society. He was all the things that Amir al-Mu'mineen did, all the Imams did. They were in society. They were with the people. They were with the masses. However, while we're with the people, we need to have a bit of time alone as well. We need to have a little bit of time with our God, with Allah Azza wa Jal. Whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no matter how much it is. Reading a page of Quran a day. After morning prayer, not quickly finishing morning prayer, just sitting down for a minute. Even if you want to listen to a Rawda of Abu Abdullah every day, even if it's not Muharram. Wallah, now that is Muharram, there's more reason to. But for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, crying for Abu Abdullah. Or just thinking about our mistakes, how we can improve ourselves. These little things, these little times of alone that makes you think. These bring you away from the dunya stuff. It brings you importance. Why is it that we say when a person has died, go behind him and say La ilaha illallah and walk? Why is it that we say go to his burial, be there? It's because Allah Azza wa Jalla wants to wake us up. You're not going to be here forever. All of us, there's death waiting for us. So what does this world genuinely have of such value that we every day, all we think about is dunya, 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 dunya? Yes, for the time that we are here, we need some things and we should work towards it. And it's important to work towards it. We have that in our heads. That's very important. However, is it more important than to forget? And this is very important for in the West, especially us living in the West. Living in the West, it makes you even more attached to the dunya, to this materialistic world. So it's even more important for us to have these times that we can focus on the hereafter. These prayers that we do every day, these are you're perfecting your art. That's why you do it 5 times a day every day. We see in, for example, sports, where people go and they do the same trick shot, the same thing over and over again to perfect it. You're perfecting your soul. So we need it every day. Every day. If you take a stone, for example, and you drop, for example, 10 buckets of water on this stone, nothing will happen to the stone. It once. However, if you make a hole in those buckets, and through time, only one drop on that stone, one after each other, over time you'll see that the stone will have a hole in it. This drop of water, each drop of water will make a hole in that stone. Something that is, it doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to do all of Ziyarat al-Jami' and read 1 juz a day, and also then go read all the ziyarats of the day, and then go read Ziyarat Ashura, and then go do, Abu Hamza, and then so on and so forth. You don't need to do that. Whether it even be a little bit, but every day. Have it every day. You don't need to read 1 juz. Read 1 page. Start with 1 page. 1 page of Quran. But every day. This is the 1 drop. This brings you closer. This you will understand slowly that, listen, not everything is about having a big house. Not everything is about having a big money in the bank. Not everything is about having so on and so forth. Having it is good. Mal and amwal and having a fortune is good. It's not a bad thing. It's barakah. That's also rizq from Allah Azza wa Jal. But the bad thing is if all that you are thinking about, all your energy is going only towards that. Let me pay my mortgage off, let me pay this off, let me pay my debts off, let me do this, let me do that. That's not the main goal. You're supposed to be using this world for that world. Not because of this world destroying your hereafter. It's not the other way around. This is what's important. To know that this world, it will finish one day. Our houses that we're living 100 years from now, someone else might be living in it. Definitely will be living in it. And you don't know even if it will be your offspring or not your offspring. Everything will end. If you go to some of these old graveyards, there are some like in Qom, for example, some of them are so old, 200 years old, the gravestone is just erased through time, through rain, and it's eroded. And it's just, you can't even see the person's name anymore. Even the person's family has passed away. There is no one that even comes to these graves anymore. 100 years from now, 200 years from now. Even when your grandkids have passed away, who will come to our graves? What does it even matter? What will stay is what you've done with your time, what you've done for the hereafter. According to that, this world is not worth anything. Yes, and this is what Abu Abdullah al-Hussein is trying to explain to his companions. This is the message he left for us. This is the message that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein has left to this day. Listen, it's not that important. What's important is the hereafter, and for you to have a death that will get you to reach that sa'adat. That's what's important. And this is what Habib did. Habib ibn Madahir, this is what he did. He was able to truly have a death that lasted for the ages. Even to this day we're speaking about the shahadat and the martyring of Habib ibn Madahir. He was able to buy himself lands upon lands in the hereafter. May inshallah we also, with our actions, be able to buy lands upon lands in the hereafter. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdillah وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك عليك مني جميع سلام الله أبدا وما بغيت وبغي الليل والنهار بلا جعله الله إلى آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Assalamu ala, all together, all the brothers and sisters. Assalamu alayhi. Wa ala. From the tongue of Habib to Abu Abdullah. Habib is speaking to Abu Abdullah. A word of love, a glance from you. Habib came in and heard a word or two. The words in the tent had just started. An arrow of love just pierced his heart. All the companions were just like Zuhair. We'll give it all for you. O Master Hussein, no arrows will reach you as long as we live. This is the namaz that they're praying, and all the companions are in front of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Zuhair is in front of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, crying to Abu Abdullah, we'll give it all for you, O Master Hussein. No arrows will reach you as long as we live. In your defense, our chest shall give, a sword in our hands, in our hearts, the love of Ali. Say, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. We shall die for the son of Ali. How beautiful was their loyalty, how beautiful this loyalty was. O companions, I now miss your bravery. Now Abu Abdullah al-Hussein is speaking to them. O companions, now I miss your bravery. Everyone is gone here. Now Abu Abdullah Hussein is alone. I stand alone to face the enemy. O Habib, O Zuhair, where are you to help me? They're rushing the tents of Ya Abu Abdullah. They're rushing the tents, and Abu Abdullah is crying, where is Habib? Abu Abdullah is saying, where is Zuhair? Where is Abbas? You said, I shall never be alone. You said, around me you shall always be. Ya Abu Abdullah, Ya Hussein, all together, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. سيعلم الذين أي منقلب ينقلبون باسمك الأعظم جل الأكرم بك يا الله يا الله يا الله. Where we be like the companions of Abu Abdullah and not leave our master alone. May inshallah these nights be the building block to build us inshallah, and for us to be the true companions like Habib was, our children to be the true companions like Habib was. May inshallah each of these majalis bring the zuhur of Imam al-Zaman alayhi salam day by day closer. That if we truly believe that all of our problems, all of our issues is because Imam al-Zaman alayhi salam is not here, he will come. We need to understand this within ourselves. Inshallah that we all understand. May Allah Azza wa Jal give shafa to all the people that are sick. There's many people that have called, there's many people that have asked that they have issues, they have health issues, financial issues. May Allah Azza wa Jal, and because of the majalis of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, make all their problems go away, whether it be health-wise, economic-wise, whatever it may be. And inshallah, bless our children and our children's children and our children's children's children to the day of judgment. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. السلام 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 يا كافي الخدر السلام. السلام 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 يا روح وعمر السلام. بال عيون اريدك من عمر لايدك، امشي على الرمل وانا الجنت امشي بوريدك. السلام 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 يا كافي الخدر السلام 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 يا روح وعمر السلام رايح يا آخر نبضة بقلبي رايح يا راحة بال حسين باكر كل خطوة مني بدربي مركض واتعثر بالجفين السلام 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 يا كافي الخدر السلام 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 يا روح وعمر السلام بعدك والله حيرة لو ودون سيرة ما ترحم يا ابو فاضل ترى النظرة الأخيرة يا أول اسم من فتحت يحجولي عنه السلام 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 يا كافي الخدر السلام 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 يا روح وعمر السلام وحدي وانت غايب ادخل الخرايب ام عانو صرت يا ابو الفضل صرت ام المصايب يا الطاهر حليبك راسك وي حبيبك لو طقني الشمير يا كافلي من وين اجيبك السلام 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 يا كافي الخدر السلام 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 يا روح وعمر السلام افلحوا صلوا على محمد وآل محمد صلوات उस वक्त जब के ज़ैनब दरबार में गई थी कारी नमाजियों से महफिल सजी हुई थी जालिम ये पूछता था गाजी तेरा कहाँ है बालों से मुँह छुपाए ज़ैनब ये कह रही थी ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ान सर छुपाऊं कहाँ everyone together है मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ान सर छुपाऊं कहाँ मजमाए आम में बेवतन बेअमा आ गया कारवां ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ान पाऊं कहाँ मैं भी हूँ मर्जिया बिन्त खैरुन्निसा मेरे लहजे में है बाबा तेरी अदा नाम ज़ैनब मेरा तूने जो रख दिया दे दे अपनी ज़ुबान ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही
بابا جان میری مانگتی رہ گئی بامدر سج گئے جیتے جی مر گئی حلقہ شام میں نام سن کر میرا مر گیا ناتواں اے میرے بابا جان ہے اذان پاؤں کہاں شام عاشور سے شام کوفہ تلک میں نے مانگا نہیں ہے خراج فدک میری چادر سے ہے میری ماں کا سکون سن ظالم جہاں اے میرے بابا جان ہے اذان چھپاؤں کہاں بابا جان یہ تیرا آخری تھا بیان تیری چادر بچائے گا غازی جوان مر گیا باوفا چن گئی ہے ردا کہتی ہیں بیبیاں عباس 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 رک نہ پایا میرے باوفا کا وہ سر نوکنے سے آنے لگا خاک پر بین کو در بدر دیکھ کر ننگے سر سے نہ پایا جوان اے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپاؤں کا صلوات
بر خاتم انبیاء محمد صلوات اللهم صل على Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is for martyrdom of Habib ibn Mazahir, the oldest warrior in Karbala and also the flag holder. As Imam Ali alayhi salam calling in, Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi. So we repeat that. Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi, Habibi, Ya Habibi. Ey shahid zohr ashura Habibi, ajr to ba madaram Zahra Habibi. Ya Habib, Habib, Ya Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi. Ey edalat chehre az khun khazabat man Habib Karbala kardam khatabat ishq janan برده کف از صبر و تابت کشته می گردی در این صحرا حبیبی یا حبیب یا حبیب یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا حبیبی تو حبیب کربلایی یا حبیبی تو حبیب کربلایی هم سفر با ما به نوک نیزه هایی، هم سفر با ما به نوک نیزه هایی. همراهم از کوفه تا شام بلایی، همراهم از کوفه تا شام بلایی. در دو دنیا همدمی با ما حبیبی، یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا حبیبی. من که خود مولای دینم، یا حبیبی من که خود مولای دینم. نحل زهرا و امیر المؤمنینم، کس نداده پاسخ حل من معینم، کس نداده پاسخ حل من معینم. مانده ام بی یاور و تنها حبیبی، مانده ام بی یاور و تنها حبیبی. یا 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 حبیبی بین چه آمد بر سر من، یا حبیبی بین چه آمد بر سر من. از آتش خشکید کام دختر من، از آتش خشکید کام دختر من. خون دلگر دید شیر اصغر من، خون دلگر دید شیر اصغر من. گشت چشم مادرش دریا حبیبی، گشت چشم مادرش دریا حبیبی. یا حبیب یا حبیب یا حبیب یا حبیبی. شد نفس ها سوز سینه، یا حبیبی شد نفس ها سوز سینه. از آتش خشکید لب های سکینه، از آتش خشکید لب های سکینه. زرد گشته رنگ گل های مدینه، زرد گشته رنگ گل های مدینه. خون چکد از چشم سقا یا حبیبی، خون چکد از چشم سقا یا حبیبی. یا حبیب یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا حبیبی. من غریب این دیارم، یا حبیبی من غریب این دیارم. آمدی تا جان خود سازی نثارم، آمدی تا جان خود سازی نثارم. اجر تو با خالق پروردگارم، اجر تو با خالق پروردگارم. من غریبم تو حبیبی، تو حبیبی. یا حبیب یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا حبیبی. ای شهید ظهر عاشورا حبیبی، ای شهید ظهر عاشورا حبیبی. اجر تو با مادرم زهرا حبیبی، اجر تو با مادرم زهرا حبیبی. یا حبیبی يا حبيبي يا حبيبي يا حبيبي يا حبيبي يا حبيبي يا حبيبي صلوات.
Brothers and sisters, this is going to be a poem I dedicate to the Imam of Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, Arwahuna lahu al-Fida. بتاها بیاسیم به معراج احمد، به قدر و به کوثر به رضوان طوبا، به وحی الهی به قرآن جاری، به تورات موسی به انجیل عیسی. بسی پادشاهی کنم در گدایی، چو باشم گدایان زهرا. چه شبها که زهرا دعا گرد تا ما، همه شیعت کردیم و بیتاب مولا. غلامی این خوانود دلیل مرادی خدا بود از خلقت ما. مسیرت مشخص امیرت مشخص، مکن دلدلی دلبریا. که دنیا به خسران عقبا نیرزد، بدوری ز اولاد زهرا نیرزد. و این زندگانی فانی جوانی، خوشیهای امروز اینجا، به افسوس بسیار فردا نیرزد. اگر عاشقانی هواداری یاری، اگر مخلصانی گرفتاری یاری، اگر آبرو می گذاری به پایش، یقینا خریداری یاری. بگو چند جمعه گذشتی ز خوابت، چه اندازه در ندبه ها زاری یاری. بشانی گشیدی قمیصین اشرا، و یا چون بقیت تو سربار یاری. اگر یک نفر را به او وصل کردی، برای سپاهش تو سردار یاری. بکر شبی را سحر کرده یا نه، چه مقدار و بیتاب و بیمار و یاری. دلا شفته بودن دلیل کمی نیست، اگر بیقراری بدان یاری. و پیان این بیقراری بهشت است، بهشتی که سرخوش ز دریار یاری. نسیم کرامت وزیدن گرفته، و باران رحمت چکیدن گرفته. مبادا بدوزی نکادل ترابا، به مردم که بازار یوسف فروشی در این دوره یدبد شدیدن گرفته. خدایا بروی درخشان مهدی، به زلف سیاه و پریشان مهدی. به قلب رعوفش که دریای داغ است، به چشمان از غصه کریان مهدی. به لبهای کرم علیش، به ذکر حسین و حسن جان مهدی. به دست کریم و نکاه رحیمش، به چشم امید فقیران مهدی. به حال نیاز و قنوت نمازش، به سبحان 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 مهدی. به برق نگاه و به خال سیاهش، به عطر ملیح گریبان مهدی. به حج جمیلش به جاه جلیلش، به صوت حجازی قرآن مهدی. به صبح عراق و شبنگاه و شامش، به آهنگ سمت خراسان مهدی. به جان داده های مسیر عبورش، به شهد شهود شهیدان مهدی. مرا دائم الاشتیاقش بگردان، مرا سینه چاک فراشم بگردان. تفضل بفرما بر این بنده بی سروپا، مرا همدم و محرم و هم رکابه. سفرها سوی خراسان و شام و عراقش بگردان. یا مهدی یا مهدی مددی. صلوات.
عباس کا پرچم ہے تنظیم حسینی ہے ریپیٹ اس کا پرچم ہے تنظیم حسینی ہے عباس کا پرچم ہے تنظیم حسینی ہے ریپیٹ عباس کا پرچم ہے تنظیم حسینی ہے یس کا پرچم ہے تنظیم یثرب سے سوئے کربلا ایک کارواں رخصت ہوا یثرب سے سوئے کربلا ایک کارواں رخصت ہوا سر پہ علم سایہ فغن قاضی کی آتی ہے صدا پہلا سفر زینب کا ہے زینب کا ہے پہلا سفر سنسان کر دو راستہ عباس میر کارواں عباس میر کارواں شان ہے کیا دبدبا کیا لوگ ہیں قرآن ماں کیا شان ہے کیا دبدبا کیا لوگ ہیں قرآن ماں صلی اللہ آیت کا ہے یہ قافلہ مشک و علام ان کا نشان عباس میر کارواں عباس میر کارواں عباس وہ کردار ہے باد علی سالار ہے عباس وہ کردار ہے باد علی سالار ہے ایسا علم بردار ہے میدان بے تلوار ہے ایسا علم بردار ہے میدان بے تلوار ہے پھر بھی علم کا پاسباں یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین لو آ گیا اس کا علم قاضی جسے کہتے ہیں ہم لو آ گیا اس کا علم قاضی جسے کہتے ہیں ہم کہتے چلو یہ دم بدم عباس میر لشکرم کہتے چلو یہ دم بدم عباس میر لشکرم باب الحوائج مہرباں یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد. We don't have time, we must finish in 2-3 minutes, just towards the Qibla, please. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا رحمن يا رحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل الساعة وليا وحافظا وقاعدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلوات. ای غایب از نظرها کی می شود بیایی برق از رخ بگیری صورت به ما گشایی یبن الحسن کجایی یبن الحسن کجایی داد از غم جدایی من آمدم گدایی در مکه یا مدینه یا در نجف مقیمی در شهر کاظمینی یا سرم الرعایی یبن الحسن کجایی من آمدم گدایی در مکه در طوافی یا زائر بقیعی در مشهد مقدس یا دشت کربلایی یبن الحسن کجایی من آمدم گدایی نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم بحق محمد وعلي وفاطمة بالحسن والحسين وتسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين عليهم السلام وبدم المظلوم وبدماء شهداء كربلاء 10 times يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك واكفنا يا قاضي الحاجات ويا كافي المهمات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك الغافر الذنب والخطيئات إنك على كل شيء قدير برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين صلوات
صل على محمد وعلى محمد
اللهم صل على
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما
اللهم صل على محمد
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
اللهم صل على محمد
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين وأولاده المعصومين بالحق حجج الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Two parents have volunteered to supervise the children in the children's area.